Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Progressive Governors Forum commends President Buhari's strategy at solving security challenges in the country. The governors also confirmed receipt of 2 trillion naira from the federal government. Nigerian Army confirms arrest of 21 suspects involved in deadly attacks in Taraba State as women group embark on street protests. Controversy trails inauguration of 9 out of 24 lawmakers in the Edo State House of Assembly, with the party insisting everything is in order. And U.S. military to deploy additional 1,000 troops to the Middle East as tensions build with Iran, raising fears of catastrophic wars. For more information on our top stories, please visit our website, channelstv.com. Subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news and updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and please follow the instructions. We have pictures to share with you, and let's start off with the one you can see now on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway showing a gridlock. According to our eyewitness reporter, this is what residents face daily between Mowe and Ibafor. Hopefully the gridlock is in front. He says the road construction there is bringing untold hardship to residents along the axis. He wants the pace of work increased so that the work is finished on time. You can see the gridlock to your left of the screen. Our next picture is from Rumuaji Ward Ibo Road in River State, showing the poor state of the road taken by floods. Our witness reporter frowns on the troubled residents go through using this road, and he wants the state government to fix it. Finally, we have this image from Talata Marafa in Zamfara State, showing the structure which our eyewitness reporter describes as the interior of the State General Hospital. He's asking the state government to attend to this urgently. For your pictures, thanks a lot. Do send us some more. The UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office has sent a warning to its citizens who intend to travel to some Nigerian states. A statement from the UK government website says all travel to Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, Gombe, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River states and 20 kilometers of the border with Niger in Zamfara State should be cancelled. The statement also warns against all but essential travel to Bauchi, Zamfara, Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, Katsina, Kogi, and within 20 kilometers of the border with Niger in Sokoto and Kebbi states, non-riverine areas of Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Abia states. The warning is coming in the wake of attacks by armed bandits, reports of kidnappings, and rising tension in the north. About 117,000 British nationals visit Nigeria annually. In other news about the country, Nigeria has been asked to own the treatment and management response to sickle cell disorder in the country as it continues to top the list of high-burden countries. A professor of medicine at the Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee in the United States, Adetola Kasim, says with about 10 to 15 children surviving out of 150,000 born every year with the inherited disorder in Nigeria, there is need for a locally adopted transplant program for eligible patients in the country. Our correspondent Yomi Otaigbe reports.
Nigeria is said to have the highest number of people living with sickle cell disorders in the world, with an estimated 150,000 children born annually with the disorder. With this huge burden, the Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria takes every opportunity to create awareness about the disorder. In this hall are stakeholders including medical practitioners, people living with sickle cell anemia, and guests from around the country. On hand to talk about emerging treatment options for the disorder is the head of Center of Excellence for Sickle Cell Disease at the Vanderbilt University, Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States, Professor Adetola Kasim.
There are emerging treatment options for sickle cell disease, like I mentioned. Penicillin, hydroxyurea, you know about. L-glutamine is coming about. Transfusion is not a new therapy. We just need to improve our blood supply. Bone marrow transplants, I know it should have a role for the more severe patients. Every patient with sickle cell disease deserves a medical home.
For a country with the highest population of people living with sickle cell disorder, Professor Kasim wants Nigeria to be at the forefront of research into how to make life more meaningful for those living with the condition.
There is increasing transplant tourism from Africa, but no long-term follow-up of residents after transplant. So we need a locally adapted transplant program for eligible patients in Nigeria, period. Stop all the tourism.
As part of owning the response to the disorder in the country, the chairman of the Sickle Cell Foundation Nigeria, Professor Olu Akinyoju, touches on the issue of stigma.
Some people are saying, you mustn't do this, you mustn't marry. They can't tell people who to marry. It's good for you to have the knowledge, and I've seen people with SS marry SS. I've seen it in Brazil, and there's one person too in Nigeria, and it's your choice.
After working with estimates in terms of the number of people living with sickle cell in Nigeria, a registry has now been opened to collate a national database, starting with Lagos State.
Here in Lagos State, we have dedicated clinics at Mazi Street Children's Hospital for children, Bagada General Hospital for adults, and of course the Lagos University Hospital and LASUF. And many private hospitals also have it. So do get involved by bringing your children to the clinics. And it's important to know that that is how the children are captured on the data.
Wrapping up the event, members of the newly formed Sickle Cell Champions Club get recognition for their efforts at providing succor for those living with the condition. Yomi Otaigbe reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim.
Hello, Joma. Thank you for joining us in the nation's capital. Well, opposition parties are intensifying efforts to challenge President Muhammadu Buhari's victory at the February the 23rd polls, with the latest strike coming from the Hope Democratic Party. The party, in a fresh motion, is asking the tribunal to declare the polls conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission on February the 23rd as unlawful, illegal, and unconstitutional. Its presidential candidate, Chief Ambrose Owuru, argues that the postponement of the election from February the 16th to 23rd had no backing of any law, as no cogent and verifiable reason required by law were advanced for the postponement. Although the party admitted that the electoral body has powers under Section 26 of the Electoral Act 2010, it however maintained that no cogent and verifiable reason were produced by INEC to postpone the election and thereby render the election a nullity under the same law. The Hope Democratic Party is insisting that the poll is unknown to law and should be invalidated by the tribunal. Now, it appears the last is yet to be heard on the probe of the Mayor of Kano Municipal, Muhammad Sanusi II, by the Kano Anti-Graft Commission over alleged misappropriation of their merit funds. A federal high court today restrained the Kano state government and the state anti-graft agency from taking any further action on their emir based on the preliminary report submitted to the government by the commission. This development is coming in the wake of unconfirmed reports that the state government was planning to suspend the emir based on the recommendations of the State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission. The matter has been adjourned to June the 28th for hearing. Meanwhile, Kano Governor Abdullahi Ganduje earlier today told State House correspondents in Abuja that serious efforts are in motion to resolve the crisis within the Kano Emirate. The trial of two police officers, Sunday Idoko and Kadgel Dabit, who allegedly killed the personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Mr. Oga Jumbo, has been stalled following an application for adjournment by the prosecutor. The prosecutor, Mr. Patrick Igili, informed the court of his inability to proceed with the trial because he needed more time to effectively present his case. Although lawyers to the defendants opposed the prosecutor's application for adjournment, the trial judge, Justice Muawiyah Idris, adjourned the matter to the 19th of September and the 7th and 9th of October 2019 for continuation of trial.
Lawyers, family and friends of the late Oga Jumbo at an Abuja High Court as they await the commencement of the trial of the alleged killers of Mr. Jumbo. The late Jumbo, an assistant superintendent of the NSCDC, allegedly died after being beaten by two policemen on the 20th of March 2019 in the presence of his wife and children for alleged violation of traffic rules at Yanya, a suburb of Abuja. Minutes later, the suspects were driven into the court premises. The prosecutor, however, informed the court of his application for adjournment to enable him present his case effectively. Lawyers to the defendants opposed the application, but the judge granted the application as he adjourned the case to the 19th of September, 7th and 9th of October 2019. Although the prosecutor and lawyers to the defendants declined to speak to journalists, the lawyer to the family of the late Jumbo expressed displeasure over the proceedings.
This is not a kind of prosecution that can secure anything. That's the reason why I told him to take an adjournment so that we can put our heads together. Because with the way they are going, they can't secure anything here. Even though it's not the duty of the prosecution to secure a conviction at all costs, but he must do the needful. That's the whole essence of this thing. It's not just coming to arraign somebody in court and say, we have done our job. You didn't do your job. You have to do your job if you want to do the job.
Outside the court premises, tempers flared as the wife of the late Oga Jumbo and families of the defendants engaged in a war of words.
They must pay for it. The law must hold them.
The defendants, accompanied by prison officials, were later driven out of the court premises.
The President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, has promised that the 9th National Assembly will prioritize working on the electoral bill for credible and acceptable electoral processes. Senator Lawan was speaking when he hosted the European Union Elections Observation Mission in Nigeria in his office. The mission was at his office to present its final report on the recently concluded elections in the country, after which they visited the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. Our correspondent Larry Lassisi has that report.
After presenting the final report to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, the European Election Observation Mission, led by the head of the EU delegation to Nigeria, is here to submit a copy to the President of the Senate.
There's a lot that can be learned, a lot that can be done. So I think that is the spirit with which we are here today, engaging in this dialogue with you. But Excellency, please count on the European Union to keep partnering with you, with the Senate, with the wider National Assembly in pursuit of development, of unity and prosperity for all Nigerians. That is our main mandate.
Perhaps the most important aspect of the report is the 30 recommendations of the observation mission for an improved electoral process.
Of these 30 recommendations, the majority of them involve legal reform. Therefore, of course, we look to the National Assembly to be taking the initiative on having an inclusive debate, an inclusive conversation, and moving these recommendations forward. And what we see from other countries around the world is that it's critical that this starts early.
President of the Senate, in his response, promises early work on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill and calls for support from the EU for the 9th Assembly.
The issues that we should have addressed due to particularly the wrong timing we had when the electoral bill amendment was sought. But I am sure that this time around we'll try to start considering those issues that we feel require urgent legislative intervention. And I want to take this opportunity to request that you extend more support to the legislature, particularly the National Assembly, so that our members, both senators and the members of the House of Representatives, are able to develop some capacity.
Delegation also meets with the leadership and some members of the House of Representatives. After their presentation, the Speaker gives them this commitment.
You've reeled out these recommendations. We will tighten our electoral laws, but we will do it in consultation with you. We know what best suits us, and we also would want to know on the international best practices so that we can marry the two together, and at the end of the day we will birth at least in 4 years' time a more perfect electoral process.
The days ahead will signal the direction government will take to ensure the improvement of Nigeria's electoral process. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Many thanks, Larry. Now we'll take another break, but when the news at 10 returns, Dangote Sugar Refinery declares profit and 13.2 billion naira dividends from ordinary shares. That and other report in our business news. Do join us again.